everybody, it's Marge from Stoop Stories. We are going to be here with Casimir Nozkowski, filmmaker of The Outside Story, which premieres this Friday. I'm just waiting for Kaz and hanging on my stoop. It's great to see everybody. And hey, thanks for joining. Hey guys. And just to let you know, if you're not familiar, Stoop Stories, we're all about connecting neighbors across New York City and sharing our stories, celebrating, supporting our New York neighbors, particularly those who are most affected by COVID and systemic injustice. You can share your own story on our website, and we would love to hear it. And we're also looking for guest storytellers and photographers all across the city, especially in Queens. We haven't done Queens yet. So let us know. Also, if you can look at our link in bio while I'm waiting for Kaz. Actually, Kaz is here. Hold on one second. Wow, we got a lot of people. Hey! The Outside Story. Yeah. Really excited. Hey!
Hi, greetings.
How are you?
I'm good.
Do you prefer Kaz or Casimir?
Both are great. I think just go with your gut. Go with your gut.
Okay. It's great to see you. Yeah,
it's great to see you.
We did these remote Stoop-to-Stoop chats a while back, and it's been quite a while, but it's spring again, so we're all outside, and it's like 80 degrees. My oldest friend in the world is walking up to my stoop right now, and she
that's so funny.
realized that we're doing a live stoop chat. Hi! How are you?
Get her in. Bring her in.
You want to come and join the stoop chat? You can sit on the stoop. That's what stoops are for.
Yeah.
So we heard about your film because
the wind is really just. Okay, good. Sorry, go on.
Are you good?
Yes, I was just brushing my wispy hair so that it was not like straight Poindexter. Awesome. Yeah. My Poindexter, but it was okay. Cool. I'm good.
That's awesome. So Casimir Nozkowski, filmmaker of The Outside Story. So we heard about your film because Sydney Stewart is one of our awesome volunteers and our production coordinator, and she worked on the film with you. Don't worry about the noise. It's New York.
Essential team member. Amazing.
Yeah.
Love
Sid is
Sydney.
amazing. Sid is amazing.
Yep.
And she's like, oh my God, this is like a Stoop story in a feature film. So we thought it would be really good to have you on.
I'm so happy.
Do you want to just introduce yourself briefly and describe your experience as a and then just introduce.
Sure. My name's Casimir Nozkowski. I'm sitting on my stoop. There's a very loud siren going by. It's not for me. I'm a filmmaker, and I made a movie called The Outside Story that was actually based on this building. It was based on this building right here. But they told me very early on, you don't want to shoot a feature film in your building. Your wife and your son will never forgive you. So we chose a different building. And we shot the film. We shot The Outside Story in Brooklyn, nearby in Park Slope on 3rd Street. And that film, we shot that a couple of years ago, and then a pandemic festival run later, and now we are. The film's coming out this Friday, so it doesn't even make sense. It's crazy. Life is bananas.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's about The Outside Story. Actually, let me say this: The Outside Story stars Tyree Henry, Sonequa Martin-Green, Sunita Mani, Olivia Edward, Maria Dizzia, Isha, Kate Dillon, lots of people, and it's basically about a man who locks himself out of his apartment. Someone who's introverted, heartbroken, wishes he was inside, locks himself out, and goes on this. I call it casually a transformational odyssey, up, down, and around his block, and meets all his neighbors, all the people he's avoided for many years, and gets a little perspective on his life. I won't tell you what happens though. No spoilers.
Well, yeah. And do you want me to show? I can show the clip. Do you want me to show the trailer?
I would love for you to show the trailer. I really am into this way of doing it, like laptop into
Yeah, it's sort
Instagram.
of like low tech because there's no other way. All right, here we go, guys.
We're so cute together. Can't there be some hope?
No, because we're not doing it today.
I think that's probably
Yep.
a sign to get out of your apartment. You need to stop being such a shut-in. We never go out.
Because I like being at home with you.
Makes sense.
Sorry for myself all day. Hey, here you go. $15. Oh, God. What about the lady who lives here? We broke up.
Jordan Carlos,
Yeah.
so funny.
Up to you. Shame. She seems so
This
fun.
is like the director's commentary.
Michael Cyril Creighton. Yeah, I'm gonna make it so no one can understand it. I'm just gonna talk.
Phenomenal
Of
cast.
my apartment.
Polka dot socks. It's based on real life. I like polka dot socks. That was my wife. That was a water balloon.
I'm wondering if I can bomb out on your fire escape. I hope that I'm not interrupting.
Hi. Yes, we're in a relationship.
Hey, you! What are you doing?
You know,
Do you know this man? Are we done here?
Sunita Mani, incredible, so funny.
Oh no!
It's spinning. That's not a stylistic
Spinning.
choice.
That was
We didn't
part of
sh-
the film.
That would be amazing. And then we hold on that.
Well, you got
We
it.
hold
You
on
got a good sense of it, everybody.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal.
From there, the hijinks ensue. More hijinks. That was just a taste. Just a little, a hint.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Hey, Svetlana. So, how are Stoops involved in the film?
Oh, Stoops. Well, it's a neighborhood film, and the locations. I really wanted to make a film that was like, I wanted to, kind of show like a whole spectrum of life in like the smallest radius possible, and so really, the heart of the movie is a building, and like a lot of buildings, in Brooklyn in particular, or maybe all over New York City, it had a great stoop, and a stoop is kind of where. Like that's the nexus. That's where everyone kind of like crosses over and joins the party, and this film is sort of based on real life. I myself have locked myself out many times, and there's one particular time where I locked myself out, climbed out on my fire escape, did a lot of the things that Charles does, but one in particular was I ended up sitting on my stoop, waiting for keys to be brought to me. And it was like that moment, like when I think of the moment that inspired the film, it's that moment, sitting on the stoop, kind of like disrupted from my routine and kind of like achieving a weird sort of peace where, people are just walking by and I've got nothing except, the ability to kind of just watch them and interact with these strangers who are like, why is this guy doesn't have any shoes and what's wrong with him? And does he live in this place? What's he doing? Why is he sitting out there at night? So that's where Stoops kind of feature in my life. I also once got a ticket for public drinking, for drinking on a stoop.
On a stoop? Mm-mm.
Back in the day, I thought that was cool. I thought that was totally fine. I had to go to court. It was terrible, ridiculous, just absurd.
And you have you made a short film about a stoop sale, right, or a sidewalk sale?
I did. I've made a lot of short films about New York things, and one of them in particular is a documentary about a stoop sale I did. My wife is kind of a stoop sale expert, and I kind of glommed onto her. I was inspired by her, and we had a stoop sale where I basically sold all my comics and my baseball cards. I called it a childhood sale, but it was great. It was so fun to interact with like the neighborhood and the kids. In the neighborhood and kind of watch them just take my dreams and run off with them at extremely low prices. It was a steal. These miserable kids owe me. They owe me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Stoops have played such a big role, of course, in the pandemic, as we've, featured in our stories. But when I love that the character in the film, the outside story, that he was basically locking himself in way before we were all in lockdown.
Totally.
It's like it totally eerily mirrored that whole thing.
Yeah. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
When I shot the film, I said, I have this feeling there's a pandemic coming. I know how it's going to go down.
Oh my God.
So
tell us what happened, because you were supposed to premiere at Tribeca last year, right? And how did COVID affect your release?
Yeah, we were going to premiere at Tribeca. So that was about, we found out in, I think, January 2020. Things are looking great. You have kind of you try to get into one of the big festivals. And then from there, that's like your jumping off point. You do a festival run. You tour the country with your film. This is my first feature film, so I was gearing up for that experience. And from that, if you build up a little buzz and you get a little light, you know, you end up with a great distributor, come out in theaters, come out in all the, you know, streaming, etc. But so around March 2020, as you probably remember, things started to look a little bleak. And Tribeca actually held on for a long time where they were like, no, we're still going. This is all going to brush over. Brush over? Brush off? I don't know. And
Blow
I was,
over.
you know, blow over. That's what it is. Thank you. Thank you so much. Brush over.
Anytime.
Comb over. No. But I was the same way where I was like, yes, it's going to blow over. It has to blow over. And then it just didn't, right? It just totally didn't. And all of a sudden we're like pulling my son out of daycare and, you know, locking ourselves in our apartments. So long story short, Tribeca didn't happen. And for a few months, it was like unclear if any festivals were going to happen and if any films were going to come out and what 2020 was going to look like. But a lot of festivals did figure it out, and we ended up starting in about August. So it got pushed by about 5 months. And in August, we started playing, and we played a lot of drive-ins and a lot of virtual festivals. This drive-in we started at was the Brooklyn Drive-In, the Rooftop Films Drive-In. And played there, and then we were playing festivals, and then before too long, we had a distributor, and then all of a sudden it was we were back in action. Just basically like a year. A year was added to the life of the film's post-production. Is how I think about it.
Yeah. And that's now it's premiering this Friday. And where can people find it?
So it's premiering this Friday. It's a digital premiere. Again, COVID, another thing that just makes it kind of hard to come out in theaters. So it's coming out, Samuel Goldwyn's the distributor, and it's coming out on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play. Basically, if you've ever rented or bought a film online on your Roku, your Apple TV, The Outside Story on Friday will just appear there. You can pre-order it at iTunes right now, but the other ones don't drop their links till the day of. I don't know what's up with that.
Oh, wow.
They're not feeling the pre-order. Anyway, it'll be just on all those services. On demand. I think the exact term is on demand and digital.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we can try to add the link in bio. Do you have a landing page? We can put the
yes.
link up.
Oh, it's great. You're much smarter than me on that one. I should have said theoutsidestorymovie.com is a great.
Okay.
Go to there, and there's a watch page, and that will have all the links. theoutsidestorymovie.com.
Okay. I'm trying to type and it's not working.
Can I do it? I'll try it.
Maybe Sid can do it. Sorry. Theoutsidestorymovie.com.
Yes, and there's specifically a watch page which will have like all the links.
Oh, awesome.
It has the iTunes pre-order link.
That's great.
Yeah. Should I turn this way? I feel like I get more stoop action this way. That's too dramatic.
No,
Feels
that's
too
okay.
dramatic.
Oh,
Okay,
you're
good.
good. What neighborhood are you in, by the way?
I'm in Carroll Gardens.
Oh, you
I'm in
are?
Carroll Gardens. Yeah.
I'm in Borum
Why
Hill.
are you like right down the street? Like, are you in Borum Hill?
That'd be funny. We're on the next block, actually. Oh, I'm across the street. No, I'm in Borum Hill. And thank
Excellent.
you, Sid, for adding the link.
Awesome.
Yes, it's hard to do two things at once, or three, or four, or five.
Totally.
As a lot of us do. So what's next for you? What's the plans?
Man, what is next? I have a bunch of scripts that I'm pursuing. I wrote another script at the same time as I wrote this one, as I wrote The Outside Story, called Metal Mother. And that one's about a mother-son metal band in upstate New York. So I like to think, a lot of times I write movies in kind of pairs, or write things in pairs. And so this is, if The Outside Story is a city movie, Metal Mother is very much an upstate film. My mom lives upstate. So I'd really like to make that one next. Probably gonna relax like a little bit, and then just get back out there, try to make another movie, try to navigate the changing landscape of indie film, which is definitely was already kind of shifting under our feet, but now because of the pandemic, I think is even in an even weirder place.
How do you see it changing most of all? Indie film in particular.
I feel like there just kind of isn't quite as much money readily available. There's not as many sources, like not as many kind of streamers that, you know, and places that are buying films as easily and readily. A lot of people are making more episodic content. I enjoy episodic content. I get it. But I think a lot of places are making their own episodic. And so I think that's making indie film have to think about what the financial model is. Because you're basically asking people, you know, individuals to fund the whole film. And if it's harder to recoup their money, I think it's just going to be harder to make indie films of a certain size.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'd say, again, I'm really, really not an expert in a weird way. I'm so, hey, look, this gate's going up.
Oh.
That's a closed store. It used to be a lingerie store, but it just closed. Anyway, so I think, you know, 5 years ago, people were like, oh, you should make try to write movies that are like $5 million. And now I think people are like, oh, you should try to write a movie that's like $50,000.
Oh my
You know, like if you can get your cast and crew together for under 100,000,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yeah.
I like guerrilla filmmaking. I'm into it, but I think it's just rethinking how it works and you know what you can do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, so another thing that we were talking about, Sid and I were talking earlier about like slice of life storytelling.
Yeah.
Like the kind that we're doing and the kind that you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like might prefer more of a beginning, middle, and end kind of action kind of plot thing. But
Sure.
yeah, what are your thoughts on like portrait pieces and sort of love letters and slice of life?
Oh, I mean, I think that, I love them. I kind of love movies that are unconventional in terms of like the stakes they're dealing with. I feel like, you know, to me, it gets hollow when every movie is life or death. You know, when every movie is like, if I don't solve this problem, I'll never be the same. And I think it's actually okay to make a film that's about a small problem. You know, like a guy gets locked out of his apartment. It's a documentary just meeting the people on your block and meeting the people who sit on stoops and catching that wave. I mean, I don't know. I think it's really it's important to make those films that are kind of fragments, that are slices of life, that are love letters, because ultimately, like, you know, it is a document. It becomes a document. And if everything's kind of supercharged to 11, John Wick style, although I enjoy a good John Wick, you know, I like that's a distorted portrait of the world. You know, my fantasy film would be like a documentary where I was somehow granted the right to go on this block and walk into everybody's house, just like knock knock, and be like, hi, really nice to meet you. I'm a filmmaker. Could you just tell me, like, what's your biggest regret in life? You know, or have you ever killed someone? Or are you, you know, try to get into, like, people's, like, private lives. And just to kind of see all the commonalities and, you know, the things we share and the things that make us, like, super different. So any film that kind of tries to get to that, and if it's something that's just singing the praises of a block or a city or a stoop, I think are great. What? Did something happen?
I love it. No,
Okay.
my block just got really loud. I mean, I'm shocked that there aren't helicopters circling because I'm near Barclays, and every time there's a peaceful protest, there's helicopters everywhere.
Right.
For like 5
they had
hours.
helicopters over. They had helicopters over DMX's funeral. I wouldn't mind a movie or a documentary. A friend of mine, Dan Engber, I'll give him total credit on this, but he was saying there needs to be a great documentary on police use of helicopters, because I mean, it's so random and so is it actually doing good? Like, what's the conversation the police are having? Oh, hey, there's a funeral for a celebrity. All right, let's get the bird out there. Let's fly out there and do nothing. Just hover over it.
No, it's actually really traumatizing, and the noise population is just awful. And I heard that it's like, I mean, it's, what is it like? It's thousands and thousands of dollars an hour for like one of those. Yeah, no, it's such that money could really be going to a lot. And I just don't really understand the point. It's just like ominous kind of neighborhood watching.
It feels like showing off. It feels like it's the police showing off that they have a helicopter.
Yep.
and
Yep. Yep.
they know someone who can fly it, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, and there's
It's
a
very
lot of damage going on the ground too. So we got,
right. Oh yeah.
yeah. But back to what you were saying, I love the idea of like knocking on a bunch of doors on the same block, like walking up the stoop on a bunch of like, hey, I think we need to collaborate. I think you can,
Let's do it.
maybe you can come and film a bunch of stoop stories for us.
I would
Yeah.
love to. I would
Yeah.
love to. I really think it's interesting to ask people what's up with their lives. I mean, it's just so hard. It's hard to build that trust and to get people to want to answer those questions, which I totally understand. But I mean, on this like block, right? I mean, there's probably people who have done crazy things, and the whole the whole world's there. Sorry, I was getting
Yeah.
preachy there. I got sentimental. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. And we're going to wrap up in a couple minutes, but I quite agree. I mean, when I've visited someone's stoop to do their portrait, it's shocking how many different stories are going on in that one house. Each person has a different perspective, intergenerational stories that go back generations. And that's like such a wonderful part of stoop life. We
totally
definitely have to chat. And I love how this film embraces that, Brooklyn and New York experience of the inside outside world. Like that was something when the pandemic started. I was sitting out here a lot, and it was my refuge. And oh, bless you. And
That was like a ghost was sneezing next to you. That was really.
I kind of want to show my awesome friends.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Hi. No, that was good. It just was like I was like, where did that sneeze come from?
It was very enthusiastic.
And I've been sneezing a lot. Is it allergies? I've got allergies like crazy
No, it's
right
awful. I never get them, and it's just the worst.
Yeah.
I sneezed like 20,000 times the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's bad.
I think that I actually lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was going to say. No,
inside, outside, stoops in the pandemic.
Yes. This feeling of like this was a safe sort of in between space of like you're not inside and you're not out, outside altogether, and it was a safe distance. And even if you didn't have a stoop, the feeling of the concept of a stoop, wherever you're hanging out, that it's like your refuge. The stoop is a state of mind, I always say. But so we have a lot of ways for everybody to get involved, and like you are one of our community now.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I want to thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited and happy for you about your premiere on Friday. The cast is great.
Thank you.
We will share this full live with more info on how to stream it. And yeah, just so you and everybody else knows, like you can all share your stoop story on our website. And we have weekly stoop stories. They get posted on Time Out New York Instagram, which is kind of fun.
That's cool.
And we have an exhibit coming up at the Brooklyn Children's Museum next month.
Amazing.
So lots of exciting things going on.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and we really just want to turn this over to the community. Like we want people from all different neighborhoods all across New York to start telling stories with us. We want it to be a collaborative experience. So we're inviting everybody to join us on the stoops. And
sounds amazing.
Yeah, and maybe someday a big outdoor event if it feels safe enough. Someday.
I like that. I think that'll happen. I mean, speaking of Tribeca is doing their festival, and they're playing our film and all the other films that didn't play in 2020. And so that's happening in June, and that is it's going to be an in-person big screen event. I think our film is showing, the Outside Story is showing on June 11th.
Oh, great.
But it's all over the city, and so yeah, it feels like in-person events and normal life.
I love it. It's starting.
Within reach. Within reach, maybe.
I'm excited. I meant to ask you actually if Tribeca was happening, and I had a feeling it wasn't, but that's so great to hear. I actually, in a past life, I was a children's media producer, and I used to work with the Tribeca Film Festival's, the Kids Festival, that was like, they would do a game day, and I would often be there, like, either working with the kids or photographing it. Yeah, I love that festival. It's a really fun day.
That's
the
fun.
Kid part, at least, that I know.
Yeah, children's media sounds fun. I've been working on my pandemic project. When I'm not doing film stuff, I've been writing children's books lately.
Oh,
so
really? That's awesome.
I have a 4-year-old son, so it's just I feel like I want to write some stories for the little guy.
Yeah. Okay. And how is your son feeling? Because you said he wasn't feeling well today.
He's feeling totally fine. He got to watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. He got his first COVID test. He was a trooper about it. And and his fever's gone, so I have a feeling it's not COVID, but something that, just little kids sharing germs. He just went back to daycare recently after being kind of off for a long time. And I am sort of scared of how much he's now, his immune system now has to come back to that little kid sharing of germs vibe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it was your basic 4-year-old fever.
Aw. 4-year-old
Yeah.
fever. Oh, I should have asked, does anyone have any questions for Casimir? Oh my gosh, I'm a little... It's been a while. I'm rusty in my interview skills. Anybody? Questions for Kaz?
Ask some questions. Do it. Come on, just one. Just one
Lisa,
question.
for Kaz?
I want to answer them.
Lisa has some stories that could be turned into a film someday.
Really?
I'm just saying.
Great.
Say hi,
I'd like to hear those. I'd like to hear those stories.
You might have to. I might make that happen.
I'm ready.
She's giving me the side eye. Anybody questions?
Come on. Don't let me down.
It is a gorgeous day. I want to let everybody go out and enjoy it. It's like almost 80 degrees. I can't believe it.
It's quite nice. It's quite nice. I'm gonna get an ice cream after this. Pretty excited.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. My son's having the day of his life. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say, what's your Brooklyn ice cream of choice? And then we'll answer the question.
I sort of love I think you can't go wrong with, what's the one? I like Pharmacy. And
Pharmacy.
I don't. Van Leeuwen is a little overpriced, but I sure like the mint chip. Ice cream is pretty slamming. But honestly, I really just like the ice cream trucks in New York City.
Mr. Soft.
I'm old school like that, and I just like I don't even mind the tune. I don't even mind the tune.
So we have
I saw some questions
coming in. So Julia and Juju Beans do you cast teenagers looking for acting experience?
Sure, if there's a part in my film that requires a teenager. In my next film, again, if I get to make this mother-son metal band one, definitely teenagers involved. They have to, metalheads. I hope that's okay. But teenagers are great.
That is a proud mom right there. Your daughter's a sophomore at LaGuardia. Nice.
All right, and plus a New York high schooler. I went to high school in New York City, so LaGuardia, great. Fame, great job.
Wait, where did you go?
I went to Hunter.
Oh, you went to Hunter. I went to St. Anne's.
St. Anne's. Oh, love St. Anne's.
This one went to Packer.
Packer. We're covering so much of New York City right there.
I should really just open the whole. Do you want to know?
Go landscape.
We have one more question. How was it working with Brian from Brian Milani?
Oh my God, Brian Tyree Henry how was it working with him? It was amazing. It was I don't want to just say the normal things that because they're true. I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful. I feel so lucky. Basically, I got to work on my first feature film with my favorite actor. And and really all my favorite actors, people who I watch as a fan. I love him on Atlanta. I love him in Into the Spider-Verse, Widows. But he's incredible. I mean, he's someone who makes everything, like he adds dimension to everything. I mean, I think there are scenes in my film, this is just a transition. This is just a moment, a passing moment. And he would put something into it that just made it so vivid, like that this is a person who's really kind of like, people can be robotic sometimes in films. I'm just doing my line and then I'm done with the scene. He's the exact opposite. He's someone who, he can do everything. And he really, I think that's it. He adds to every moment, something surprising, something special, to the point where I was taking it for granted, where I was like, Brian's going to take this and just elevate it. And
wow.
I could go on and on. He's a generous person, kind, had incredible chemistry with the other actors. The last thing I'll say, I'm rambling now, but we shot the film in 16 days, which is like absurdly fast.
Oh my God.
So you have to have actors who are really able to kind of hit the ground running. And he, is in every shot. Like the film is Brian Tyree Henry. And he literally, he had shot the remake of Child's Play, flew into New York. 2 days later, he's shooting The Outside Story. Shoots the film, 16 days, just you know, running and gunning in his socks for the whole film, running over rooftops, doing all these emotional moments, crying. And then the film is wrapped. 2 days later, he's shooting Godzilla vs. King Kong in Hawaii.
Oh
So
my God. Wow.
he's a machine. He's so in touch with his emotions in film, like just able to kind of express them so clearly and beautifully. Love Brian.
Beautiful.
So lucky. So lucky.
Did you think of him for this role in particular?
Absolutely. I mean, he was someone I thought I actually was talking myself out of it. No, he's too big. He's on his way. There's no way he would do this. And I don't know. It was one of those things, you know, where we had a great casting director, Stephanie Holbrook. My producers were great, Frank Call Green, Brian Newman, Joe Stevens, you know, able to get his agent the script. And I guess he was feeling it, and we had a great lunch. And, you know, then if you're just trying to make the schedules work, because as I said, he's just doing so many projects.
Wow.
So I think we just had to be as flexible as possible. What can we do to be in the Brian Tyree Henry filmmaking business? So he was wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. So wonderful.
The whole cast. Well, I can't wait to see the full film.
This Friday.
Yeah, this
Get ready.
Friday. So
Yeah.
everybody tune in. It's going to be, repeat the platforms again. Just iTunes.
Okay, it's going to be on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play. It's called, the premiere is an on-demand and digital premiere. And what that means is anywhere you go to buy or rent films, you can find The Outside Story starting Friday, April 30th onward.
Woo! Very cool. It's been such a pleasure to Stoop chat with you, neighborhood to neighborhood.
Yes. Thank you for having me. It's so nice to talk to you.
You're welcome, and we'll definitely talk more. And good luck with everything. Thanks for joining. Yeah.
Thank you.
And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. All right, have a good day.
All right, see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.